But may I ask another question? Who is the most oppressed in all sections? That is the women. The women in all the religions are oppressed class.
Yeah.
So when I was discussing about the original intent, why this uniform civil code found a place in the constitution, with an intent to throw light what they wanted. When the constitutional framers incorporated the uniform civil code, they wanted gender equality. That was of the opinion that this is such a very bad stage if it comes, that Hindu Rashtra will be very dangerous for India. So that we are seeing now.
JB, my name is Bindu Ammini. I am with Advocate Prashant Padmanabhan, Supreme Court lawyer and constitutional specialist.
Jai Bhim.
And I am with the right person now. He know all the constitutional provisions that affecting the minority, especially in SC, ST and other vulnerable sections. And nowadays, this is a crucial period, and all over India, so many issues affecting the rights of the minorities and SC, ST and all other vulnerable sections by some dominant ruling sections. This is my opinion. My friend have different opinion or agree with me. And in this show, we have all the freedom to express both perspective. And today we are discussing about some problems of this uniform civil code. And most of the political parties except RSS, BJP and their allies are against the introduction of uniform civil code in our parliament and also the implementation in this time. This is because of most of the sections and most of the parties all are scared because of the actions of the ruling sections. The inaugural day of new parliament itself shows why all these parties and political sections and progressive sections against all these actions by these ruling parties. Sir, what is your opinion about the implementation and introduction of uniform civil code in this time?
I must start by saying that I share your concerns regarding the atrocities faced by the marginalized sections, especially the Dalits. It is not new, but it has increased manifold during the last so many years. And then the atrocities, killings of humans on grounds as silly as exporting cow or eating food thinking that it is beef, or these type of instances are shocking the conscience of any right thinking person.
Yes.
So there is no difference of opinion on that. You have started by saying that if there is a difference of opinion I can express, but on that issue I don't have any difference. On uniform civil code, see, we don't know in which form it is going to come. The government has declared their intention to bring in the uniform civil code, and of course it was there in the party manifesto of BJP. So we are all aware of that, and we are expecting that it may come at any time. Now, as you know, this last law commission and present law commission also are examining the possibility of bringing a uniform civil code. When we look at this issue, we must, if we see it dispassionately, one is the original intent. It is a constitutional provision. The constitution itself provided that the state shall endeavor to bring in a uniform civil code. So when that is there in the original constitution, we cannot go to the court and say that it is unconstitutional or it is against basic structure. That will not be accepted by the court. Then we must look at under what context and in which circumstances this provision was incorporated into the constitution. What was the stand of Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, and what was the discussion in the Constituent Assembly debates. When we look at the original intent, there was a huge discussion. Initially, it was sent to the Subcommittee on Fundamental Rights, and some progressive women like Minu Masani and Amrit Kaur. Minu Masani is a male, Amrit Kaur, and then one more lady is there. I will just give that name. They all supported the Uniform Civil Code to be incorporated in the Fundamental Rights chapter so that it is enforceable. But then the general opinion of the majority was that it is an ideal which has to be implemented, and you cannot say that this should be done through court, though therefore we will put it in a different chapter, which is the directive principle of state policy. That was accepted and it was sent to the parliament with those suggestions. And then these three members wrote a letter to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was the chairman of that subcommittee on fundamental rights, saying that one factor which holds India back is the religious laws, that is the personal laws. If we have to progress, then we should have gender equal law applicable to all sections, irrespective of religion, caste, or any other criteria. So if that was the criteria, and then when it was discussed in parliament, again, some 4 or 5 members opposed, even incorporating this in directive principles. They said there are two things mainly. Mostly they were Muslim members. They said it may affect even Hindus, but our concern is that it may entrench upon our religious rights. And as far as we are concerned, we should be allowed to practice our religion. And if state is going to implement it, it should be with the consent of all of us. Some members opposed it, K.M. Munshi and some other members. So ultimately, when for like everybody asked what is Baba Sahib's opinion on this, Dr. Ambedkar stood up and he said, see, I am surprised by this question whether we should have a uniform civil code. We have a uniform code for so many other purposes, for transfer of property, and then for negotiable instrument, so many transactions, all are civil laws. They are all uniform in its application for everybody. But there are some areas in which state cannot enter so far. That is like marriage, divorce, succession, maintenance, adoption, all these things. So these are family laws. To that area also, in my opinion, the state should have a say. Unless that is provided, because the religion has got that much of hold in India, it has got something to say on everything in your life. From the time when the person is born till he dies, religion has to say something.
Agree with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, our constitution guarantees secularism. Secularism is also fundamental, basic structure.
Yes.
And all these actions nowadays affect the concept of principle of basic structure and secularism. And the state decides what we eat, what we thought, what we express, all outthinking itself now decided by the ruling central government and their allies. And in this time, we are concerned. I am concerned about the rights of vulnerable sections, including Dalits and tribals and Muslim and other minorities. And in Manipur and in West Bengal, in Rajasthan, in everywhere, Dalits and tribals attacked by the dominant sections of the areas, the upper caste, at many atrocities. They are always trying to attack the Dalits and tribals and other minorities. In this situation, what they do, the state and central government supporting these oppressors. And in the time of atrocities, they support the oppressors. In this situation, we are scared. We all really scared. I am personally supporting the concept of uniform civil code. But at the same time, I am also salute Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Baba Sahib Constituent Assembly debates itself speak this was not compulsorily implement to the sections. He concerned about the choice of these sections to recognize the what they give some suggestions by the constituent assembly debates itself, and most of the members in the drafting committee itself, they have some concern about this uniform civil code. That's why it is become the part 4 of the constitution. Otherwise, in that the original constitution itself, they have a option to include in the fundamental rights, but they never do that. Okay, but they are also concerned about the social situation will change, then it will become applicable to the or inclusion of this concept uniform civil code to the mainstream, and there is possibility to implement uniform civil code all over India. But my concern is that this is not the right time.
I will answer that.
Yeah.
I share your concern about the oppressed sections are not getting rights. That has been all along, it was like that. Now since the party in power is especially having that majoritarian politics, that concerns are real. But may I ask another question? Who is the most oppressed in all sections? That is the women. The women in all the religions are oppressed class.
Yeah.
So if I was discussing about the original intent, why this uniform civil code found a place in the constitution, with an intent to throw light what they wanted. When the constitutional framers incorporated the uniform civil code, they wanted gender equality. That was the purpose for which it was brought. It was not to teach a lesson to some sections or to bring in the majority's opinion to the minority. It was not for that purpose. It was brought for the purpose of ensuring gender equality. Because when we say about fundamental rights, the fundamental rights which are so important, like right to equality, which is one of the most important fundamental right, then right to life, live with dignity, those things are applicable for every section. It is for women, and now we are discussing about the rights of transgenders and people who are having different sexual orientation. They all have got rights and they are all equal in the constitution.
True.
In Manusmriti, they are not equal. Even in Sharia, they are not equal. If earlier that the plight of Hindu women were pathetic. You know that when the constitution came into being, there was no uniform code for Hindus. Thereafter, Baba Sahib fought for them, and then he resigned from the cabinet for their rights. Ultimately, there were like 4 laws that was codified, and Hindu women have got now a right to choose their life partner, to get out of that marital relation if it is bad, and then a right of child custody, some property rights. All this is happened because that laws were codified and given some rights to women. That has happened for Hindus. So once somebody asked Nehru what was the thing which gave you most pleasure, like he said, I am happiest because I could do something for our Hindu women. Then and the next question was, what is your the most sad experience as a prime minister? He said, I couldn't do the same thing for my Muslim sisters. He couldn't do it because there were different, even among Muslims, there were difference of opinion, what is exactly, which law is to be followed, and the religious law were also so different. And secondly, there was stiff opposition, and as you said, there was a feeling that we have got freedom, and there were bloodshed on account of communal politics, and we should not give them a feeling that we are not protecting their minority rights. But when we are seeing about minority rights, the minority within that minority or the women within that group, they are also equal citizens. That is what our Supreme Court is saying. Merely because you happen to be a member, either you are a member of one community, one religion, or a race or caste or gender, here it is gender, then you will not become unequal. But in religious law, you have only like succession. If under Sharia law, there are some cases pending in Supreme Court, therefore I am aware, if a son and daughter is there and the parents die, son will get 2/3 and the daughter will get only 1/3, the half
No,
of
no,
what?
no, no, no. Son, and in case of son and in the presence of son and daughter, then 1:2 ratio. 1:2 ratio.
Yes, 1:2 means the 2 share for son and 1 share for daughter means half of what son inherits.
Yeah.
So that is unequal treatment, which is prohibited under the constitution. So these rights, the fundamental rights, are for everybody, whether you belong to Hindu, Christian, Muslim, or whichever religion. So when you are an equal citizen, your value is one for everybody. Baba Sahib spoke about that. We are trying to ensure that one value for one person. But in social reality, it is not like that. So this is the purpose for which all the sections are to be looked at, or even all the constitutional articles are to be looked at.
Yes.
So when you say you have to bring in a uniform civil code, if it is to ensure the equal rights for all citizens, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of the religion to which you are born, irrespective of caste or any other identity, then it should be welcomed. And especially since it is there in the constitution, if a challenge comes to the court will uphold it. Now I have forgotten one very important name, that is Hansa Mehta, who also supported this uniform civil code. She was our representative, India's representative to UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted by UN General Assembly on December 10, 1948. That declaration is as important as the Indian Constitution. In that Article 1, it was initially the word used were men. All men are born free and equal in dignity and rights. It was Hansa Mehta who suggested remove that word men, and make it a human beings. So how that much of visionary was there? Like all human beings are born free and equal. Today we are speaking about the rights of transgenders, women, men, and even transgenders, third gender. Everybody is equal. So this was incorporated on Hansa Mehta's suggestion. She wanted a uniform civil code. Now Article 16 was incorporated by the suggestion of a woman from Pakistan. Her name is Begum Shrista Suhrawardi Ikramullah. She suggested men and women of full age, without any limitation due to race, nationality, or religion, have the right to marry and found a family. They are entitled to equal rights as to the marriage, during marriage, and its dissolution. So this equality in the marriage means during marriage and after dissolution means man and woman are equal. So this is what suggested by the woman member from Pakistan. It is incorporated as Article 16. So my suggestion is, when the government is saying that we will bring it, they are having majority, they can bring it. What should we do as responsible citizen? We should oppose all that is unjust to the society. If it is to take away some rights which is already there, then we should oppose. If it is to ensure more rights to the existing sections who are oppressed, especially women from all religions, then we should welcome it. And if there are concerns within the religion, or any right-thinking citizen is having a concern that they may have a problem, then we should make our suggestions to the Law Commission. Now the Law Commission has invited the suggestions. So whatever be your concern, you should express it. Now regarding the secularism, what you are saying, Dr. Ambedkar also said this. He knew that the religions have that much of hold in our society. So he suggested we should limit the interpretation of religious rights to the basic rights and rituals and the right to practice religion. And we should not accept all what the religion wants to say about how the property should be distributed, how a person should marry, and how they should get a divorce and all those things. The problem is, if you accept all those from the religions, then there is no scope for social reformation. If you have to have a social reformation, irrespective of what the religion says, then after guaranteeing equality and equal rights and everything, you cannot say that, okay, then you accept everything from the religion, because all religions discriminate women. You can't have equal rights if you accept everything. So if
not
you
only women,
not
only women, but also Dalits and tribals.
Yes, that is especially with regard to Hinduism, there are that caste system, and that is like Ambedkar was of the opinion that this is such a very bad stage if it comes, that Hindu Rashtra will be very dangerous for India. So that we are seeing now. Now the problem is that Hinduism gives legitimacy to the caste system. Caste system is gradation of human beings according to birth. There is no, so what is the constitutional guarantee is totally opposed to that. The Varna Vyavastha. The Varna Vyavastha, the God himself is saying, Chaturvarnyam Maya system. So this is the danger. So if we accept that is part of religious rights, then where is the guarantee of equality? Constitution guarantees equality, irrespective of religion, irrespective of caste. Still we are seeing every day atrocities against Dalits, atrocities against those who are in backward caste. If you are marrying and you are sitting in the horse and then people are beating you, these type of instances happen despite having the constitution. We are having this constitution for so long, more than now 73rd year. Even then these things are happening. So the religious rights should be having that much of importance only in a person's life, that you can practice, you can have a belief, but that belief cannot entrench upon somebody else's rights. There ends your rights, because Article 25 is the constitutional provision which guarantees religious rights. That right is subject to all other fundamental rights.
Other
it is subject to public order, health, morality, and other provisions of this part. This part means part 3.
Right.
Part 3 is fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, right, equality, right to life and personal liberty, all those rights are there. So if a woman, by whether she is a Christian or Hindu or Muslim, she has got equal rights.